This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Thrillist. Matt Damon had an interview with Piers Morgan on CNN, and he was basically talking about the Obama administration and how he was deeply disappointed with the job that Obama has done so far. Well, he's still doing his media tour to promote his movie, The Adjustment Bureau. And while talking to The Independent, he was more specific about the things that he dislikes about the Obama administration. So if you guys can remember, yesterday we were talking about whether or not people are going to interpret Matt Damon's criticism as Obama either being too conservative or being too liberal, right? Cenk said that some people might interpret his criticisms as, Obama is not being conservative enough. Well, he clarified that in the interview with The Independent, and I want to read you guys his quote. He said, "I think he's rolled over," speaking about Obama, "to Wall Street completely. The economy has huge problems. We still have all these banks that are too big to fail. They're bigger and making more money than ever."
Now, Anna, that is absolutely clear, right? He thinks Obama is not liberal enough, exactly as we said. There's no question about that, right? Mm-hmm. But even despite saying that, the interviewer then asked him, "So, are you going to vote for Republicans?" I told you, they think, Damon must be saying that Obama's too liberal. No, he's saying he's too conservative. They can't get it through their heads.
No, you're right about that. However, after the reporter asked him that question, he said, "Oh, God, no." And then he said, "I just got a 3% tax cut," which most people would be in favor of, but I'm guessing Matt Damon is not in favor of, which makes me respect him only a million times more. Because you got to keep in mind, he was basically criticizing the extension of the Bush tax cuts, and most wealthy people love the Bush tax cuts, and Matt Damon is tremendously wealthy, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't really need it. You should probably tax me more."
No, because Damon's right. Look, at that income level, he's like, what do I need an extra 3% tax cut for? He's like, look, unless you're incredibly greedy like the Koch brothers, he's like, you're going to ruin the economy so that, Matt Damon is saying, so I need a 3% tax cut when I already make millions? It's crazy. And he's right. Obama is way, way, way too conservative. Way too much leeway for the banks. The healthcare didn't go far enough, etc. And I hope people understand the message that Matt Damon's putting out there and not getting confused and be like, "Oh, okay, then Matt Damon must think that Obama's liberal and he's going to vote Republican." No, the exact opposite.
It amazes me that anyone could be dense enough to misinterpret what Matt Damon is saying. Like, he's just so incredibly clear. I mean, he's clarified so many times in this Independent interview alone. So I just think if you still listen to what he's saying and you think, he wants more conservatism, you're wrong. Like, you're crazy. You're so oblivious to the truth. It's amazing.
And look, last thing on this. The reason I told you that before this interview and the reason why the reporter asked that question in the middle of the interview, and now it's Great Britain, so it's a little different, and the reporter wanted some clarity on it, etc., but is because I know the mainstream media in America, and for them, the idea that Obama is too conservative, it does not fit into their head. They cannot compute. They just have a mouth. Obama is socialist, Glenn Beck told me, O'Reilly told me, Obama too conservative does not compute, malfunction. Right? They just can't understand it, no matter how obvious it is, no matter how clear it is. And so that's why my guess is they were confused by the original Matt Damon comment.
Thrillist gives you great suggestions for where to go when you're looking to have a little fun.
Best new bars, restaurants, events, services, anything that you're looking for, Thrillist has it. You sign up through Thrillist.com/TYT.
Go to Thrillist because it's the illest.
Think about it. That was good. That was good. You are the world's largest dork.